What's up, everybody? It is Saturday and we are seeing green. That is exactly what we wanted to see. Like last weekend, we had a massive sell off, a big liquidation style event, bigger than any FTX or C19, and it all happened on a Sunday. And prior to that, the previous Sunday was very bad. The previous Sunday before that was very bad. So, and also Saturdays were also pretty bad. But today, it's Saturday and we're seeing green. This is exactly what we want to see. Look at Monero shooting all the way up above 6% today. That's really good to see. And we have XRP hanging out 1%. Look at Trump up 4%. But pretty much the market is flat though. If I had to take an assessment, I would look at the market as pretty much maybe point or 1 or 2% to the upside, which is good, considering that it is Saturday, right? So the big thing is what is going to happen tomorrow. Is the market setting up for a big move to the downside for the Sunday sell-off? Well, it kind of looks like it in a way on some charts. If you look at Monero here, what do you see? I see an impulse to the downside and I see a three-wave pullback. Now that's all it is right now, but it could turn into, for example, a wave 3, a 4, and a 5. Okay, but what it's showing me now is a three-way pullback. So what we could see is a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, and then we come down for a 5. Take the liquidity out and then shoot up. That's one idea. The other idea is if we have this come up and we break this top right here. If we could break that to the upside and flag out in here, that's going to look really good. So those are the two main ideas, the bullish idea and the bearish idea. Both ideas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lead to upside in my opinion, but one happens a lot faster. So we're going to figure that out soon. So if we look at something like Litecoin, it's a tougher nut to crack because we're pretty much consolidating in here. So it's really just ranging, trying to figure out what it's going to do. You can see we have 3 there, we have 3 there, and that looks like 3 there. So that's a completed 3-wave move. So boom, boom, and boom. That's 3. And then what is it doing now? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it could be a 1, 2. This could be going up into a 3, 4, and 5. But more than likely, it's probably going to be 3 because you have 3 down. Maybe we get some kind of 3 up and then another 3 down later. 3, 3, 3, and that becomes the move, right? And then continue higher. I just don't know about that because if you look at the size of this 3, 1, 2, 3, and then if you look at the size of this 3, it's pretty proportional. So yeah, I actually had it here, but I think, let's see, 3, 3, and 3. Yeah, it needs to be here. So it's a little bit big, but that's okay. But anyways, we're just ranging. So are we going to break it to the upside or to the downside? If we break it to the downside, it's actually not a bad thing because that's kind of what I would expect in a case like this, because anytime you have a big violent sell-off and then an automatic reaction and then consolidation, you're more likely to come down here, retest. That's the big key word, retest. Some of the lows, make a low, make a higher low, then create a little bit of a base, then go up. That's usually what happens. Now, we could get that type of move by doing this. 1, 2, 3, and then come down in 3 and retest the lows later on after getting everybody excited, a little bit of a fake out. That's why I'm kind of like, well, you always have to think long term. ask myself this: if we push to the upside, what is that going to mean? Right? Well, if we push to the upside, that's going to give us 3 waves. Okay? So if this is going to be an impulse, and now we have a 3-wave pullback. So it's going to be bearish. It's going to be bad. It's not going to be what we want. So we actually want the price to come down. We don't, because if the price goes up, then it's going to give us this 3-wave shape. So we have an impulse to the downside. We have a 3-wave pullback. What comes next? A lot of downside. And then the risk becomes, this could be 5. And if it's 5, then we get 3 and then we continue down. We don't want 5, right? So what we want is another 3 to get down here and then go up. So that's kind of what I would think. Now, if we break to the downside, we have 3 there, 3 there. Maybe, this is like, maybe we get another 3 down, right? So basically like a roundabout, something that kind of rounds out, goes flat, and then kind of goes up. I would much rather prefer this than the other way. But what if we push to the upside, but then it keeps going and it challenges this high? Well, then in that case, I would look for 5. And if we get 5, then I would look for 3. And if we get 3, then I would look for another 5. Because then I would be looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we would flag out later on and then go higher. So it's all about 5s and 3s. Look at this here. This is a 3-wave move. If you look at this here, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move. Right? So it's all about 5s and 3s. You got to look for them. Here's another 3-wave move. Here's another 3-wave move. Right? Here's another 3-wave move. I mean, they're all over the place. You just got to know how to find it. But if I'm looking at it close up, it actually looks kind of bullish right now. The reason why is because you got this little impulse and you got this flag here. Boom, 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 boom. Really, really tight. I mean, those are hourly candles. Look how many candles that is. That's a lot of candles right there. I mean, going down. So what is that? That would be approximately 14 hours, 14 candles. So we're basically going down for 14 hours. Just boom, 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 boom. You break out. This looks like a 1, a 2, and it looks like we're probably going to go higher. At least for a 3-way pullback, It could get up here, it could get up here. It depends. Now, if it's going to go for it, it needs to break this, then flag out in here, and then continue higher. So anyways, Litecoin, that's what you got there. Now, Link looks interesting a little bit because it looks different, right? It doesn't look like Litecoin. Look at Litecoin. It goes straight up, and then it goes sideways. Look at Link. It goes straight up, and then it's cocking back. So, I'd rather it kind of cock back. The only way I like it going up and then going sideways is if we have bullish structure in the sideways move, like an ascending triangle, inverse head and shoulders, 3 down, 3 up, 5 up, right? Something. But, if we have 3 up and then we're kind of drizzling down, well, this is kind of what you would expect to see. You pump up and then we drizzle, 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 drizzle down, and then we eventually round out of there. Maybe we create a base down here, right? And then we start heading higher. So I actually prefer the way Link looks in a weird way, but if I'm looking at it, I just don't like this. It looks a little bit weak. It doesn't look finished to me. It seems like this was trying to be like a 1-2. It went up here. It's getting rejected. It looks like an impulse with a 3-way pullback. So we might have one more down. 1, 2, 3. Finish that 3-wave move, right? You kind of have, this is really difficult to count, but you kind of see a flat right there, a 3-way move there, and 1, 2, 3 here. or even 1, 2, all of that's 3 there. And there's no point in trying to count it. The best thing to do is just kind of wait for it to level off. We want to see it level off and create a base. Once we see that, then we can look for, maybe we're going to come back up, right? So like a big one, a bigger move like that. All right, let's look at the fun stuff. XRP, right? XRP had a violent move down and a very violent move back up. So I'm trying to remember if this structure looks similar somewhere. I think, okay, let me look at this. Okay, I just found something that's going to blow your mind. I don't think anyone's ever shared this before. Somebody share this with Blockchain Backer because this is crazy. Ready? Watch this. Look at this, guys. This is the same damn structure. How did I not see it before? I'm like flipping out right now because I'm like, wait a minute. I just had like this weird flashback. Like, I've seen this before, but how come I didn't catch it when I was down here or over here? I've seen this structure before, and that structure is right here. Okay, this is back when the lawsuit happened right here. Right around here, they got sued, and then we went lights out. But then look what happened after that. We actually went all the way up, we cocked back sideways, and then we blasted into the stratosphere. Well, not exactly. We only went into a retracement. We just barely broke out, and that was pretty much the biggest XRP bull run that I've ever experienced up until now. But essentially, just to show you where this is at here, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, let's go to the 2-day chart. Okay, so that is right here. That structure there. And I don't know why no one else has shown it. Maybe they haven't, I just didn't see it. But I feel like this is a very, very good match. So if you check it out here, you can see like boom, 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 right? Boom, 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 boom. It's the same type of move, right? You got your impulse, and then it looks like a WXYXZ, WXYXZ, but it's not really. You can't really label it that way, but that's what it started off looking like, something like that. And then you had your violent move down, but here's where it gets interesting. If you look at what happened over here, you can see we actually came up and then we came back down and we set a new low, creating that divergence, right? So we had like this 3-wave move up, this 3-wave move down, and then we got back up here, flagged out, continued. I don't think that's going to happen again, because if you notice, if you see where this came to, it came below this high. If you see where this, first of all, this drop was way more significant, way bigger. I don't know about in percentage terms. I'll have to see. But just think about that for a second here. I mean, this is when the SEC got sued Ripple, and this was actually more of a liquidation than this was. How insane is that? Right? So this was the beginning of the SEC lawsuit against Ripple. Right? So, if it was up to me, if I could go back in time, I would have sold all my XRP right here. And I would have put it in a Chainlink, VeChain, ADA, THETA, because those coins rock and rolled, man. They did really well. Solana, right? What other ones? I mean, there's a Matic. They all did very well, but not Luna, right? So I would have put, I didn't even think about it. I would have put it all into Dogecoin. Everything I had into Doge right there. And then after the bear market was initiated, and then after, all of that, I would have sold off. And then, let me show you, right in here, we can see this is where Bitcoin, or XRP rather, went into its reaccumulation phase, right down in here. And that's probably where I should have done the exact name of it, which is reaccumulate or accumulate. So, but yeah, I just found that interesting. So there you go. There's the fractal right there. And actually, let's do a little bit of a bars pattern here. And let's see exactly how it looks when we match it all up. So this looks really good. The daily candle. Look at the 2-day candle. That looks good. That's what you want to see. So far so good. Now I'm gonna. So it's giving me a real hard time trying to scale it. I think because it was on log scale when I did it, but it's very sensitive because it's in 2 different places, right? This was, when you get up into the $3 range, the price scale gets more stretched out, or it gets actually more concentrated, right? So it's kind of hard to fit it in there, but you can kind of see it's actually better if I just look at it side by side. But anyway, I was trying to get it to kind of match up, but it is what it is. But you can kind of see in there, that's kind of what we would expect, something like that. So, but yeah, I'm super stoked that I actually found this fractal, actually. So really happy about that. So anyway, there she is. So the big question is, are we going to have to do this where we go boom, boom, take the low, boom, boom, take the low? I don't think so. The reason why is because if you look at the size of this wick and you look at the size of that wick, much smaller. So now let's measure it and see the percentage scale of what it is. So now we know in the future, if we ever see a structure that looks just like this, I don't know why my phone's tripping today, but I apologize. It's just all over the place. So if you look at this structure here, if we ever see a structure like that and we start to, spike up and then start to round out, get ready because it's going to be lights out. So, all right, let's measure it here. From that first bottom, whoa, that was a big drop, 73%. Yeah, in percentage terms, that one's most likely going to win. This one's not going to be that much. It's going to be like, what, 40, 50%? 51%. So not bad at all. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure it from this peak to the bottom of this peak only. If I can find the wick in there, I can't see. Okay, right there, 67%. And then this one's got to be way less, but from here down, that's about 50%. But 50% of 100+ billion is way more than 70% of less than 30 billion, right? So I think that's right, or whatever the market cap of XRP is, right around this area. So, okay, let's zoom in and see if we can see anything here. See, here's the concerning part. You can kind of see maybe we're right here, right? See how we came up in 3, boom, 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 boom. And then what happened, guys? We kind of drizzle down. We popped the high and then flushed the low. Same thing that's happening now. We have this high here, drizzle. What if we pop the high and then flush the low? And then what happens after that? Well, then at that point, we would want to see divergence. I don't think we're going to flush this low. If anything, we would probably come down here and retest the wick 50%, probably around $1.90 or so. I don't think we would take that wick out. If we did, it would look really bad. So, but yeah, you can kind of see this here, the drizzle down, poke up, flush the low, right? And then kind of play around in here and then continue higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a bars pattern of just the aftermath. So because if you notice, it took 2021, right? It took all the way till May. So January, February, March, April, May. Or, well, no, it was actually April. So it took 4 months from bottom to top. I think it's going to happen faster because this structure was way bigger. So there we go. If I match it up here, bear with me. You can kind of see where we are here. So this is one way to look at it, which would then suggest, look at that. The price goes literally, oh my God, that's hilarious how that just played. That's why math is like the eighth wonder of the world, how everything lines up almost perfectly. Look at that. $10 to $14, $10 to $13. That's exactly where you would expect the top to be anyways, right? So I'm not saying it's going to look like this. I mean, it could look like this, but I don't think so. I think what's more likely is probably going to have to condense it a little bit like that. Something like this would make more sense. Or even if we sort of say that this is the low here, let's see. It's all subjective how you put it. I'm just trying to see what looks proportional. You know, that's a little bit sharp, meaning pretty quickly it'd probably have to be a little bit longer. It's a tough one, but the point is of this fractal is not where it's going to go, but if it's going to bottom and reverse, which I think it will. I think it will reverse back to the upside. So we'll see how that plays out. So yeah, that's a very good find. So the options are that we round out of here, or that we maybe come down a little bit more, retest the low, but round out, and then kind of play around, and then work through the retracement levels, then break out. Pretty simple. The other one is that we continue to follow the fractal, it breaks down, possibly taking the low, but more than likely retesting at 50%, then shooting up, then cocking back, then continuing higher. So something like that, right? Which makes a little bit more sense. And then you have a big base. See, there's your base, right? And that's the size of the base you would kind of want to see, something relative to that. You know, I saw BCB take this fractal here and basically just overlay it from here, you know? But that's, to me, it's totally different. But he was doing it for a time purpose, right? To see exactly when the timing of it would be. So you're looking around maybe somewhere around February. We're just hanging out in here. So anyways, that was not my intention to go down that road. I was just kind of look at the price structure. So, but yeah, I don't know what happened. I just looked at it for a minute and I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen this structure somewhere, and all of a sudden it hit me. Well, wait a minute. How come I didn't think about that way before? That was so crazy. But yeah, if we just look at it one more time, the fastest way is just do that. You can kind of see, especially right in here, the way it moved. Boom. And then we have this three-wave move up. It kind of looks like an S, like a flat, right? Or it is a flat, and then we just lights out. But notice, okay, so here's the big thing, right? Notice over here, when we came down, we didn't go back up immediately. What happened was we created a base. Look at all those candles, guys. We had 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. You had basically 24 hours down at the lows before it went up into the upside. So that's a big difference, right? And if I throw on the RSI, look at the massive divergence. You have extreme oversold, major bullish divergence here, right? And then you had this this three-wave move down, three-wave move up, right? And then what happened after that? See, the reason I'm doing this is because we want to study the lows. We want to study and we want to see exactly how it took place. That way, in the future, we can learn from, these surprise attacks that we just had, right? Because I was definitely surprised how violent it was. I was not expecting it to do that. So anytime it does that, it humbles you, right? It basically rattles you, like, whoa, like, how come I didn't see that coming? Like, I felt like a big move to the downside was that is possible. Not a big move, but just a regular correction, right? Because if we look here, basically the idea was that we have this flag out and then come down and retest this area, right? And then continue higher, right? A back test. But that did not back test. That went straight down and it took these lows out. Now, nobody could have predicted that. It's very hard to get something like that right. So my job is to try to make it as best as I can to prevent something like that so that I can, see it, at least somewhat see it before it happens. And now I have my answer, because if I would have remembered this fractal, it would have given me inclinations of reminiscence of the past, because I lived through this. I remember holding XRP. Look how long it went sideways. First of all, here's C19, right? I was buying XRP through here, right? And the biggest area was right in here, reaccumulation. This was a Wyckoff reaccumulation structure. I identified that. I was buying it like crazy. And then we broke out and I was the happiest person on the planet. Only to then realize, okay, we maybe come down here and we'll back test, right? That was kind of my thought, potentially. But then we got sued by the SEC, and then we just basically came down here and we took these lows out. So here's the low, and we took the low out. Exactly what happened this time. It's crazy how that worked. So incredible. I think, if you can hit the like button, I think this video deserves it because of this very interesting fractal of itself, right? I mean, I think this is a very interesting video. I mean, I'm kind of like a nerd, like I kind of geek out over this kind of stuff, how it plays out exactly. So you can see there's your liquidity grab right there. So anyways, now that we've done it, now let's, everything's always hindsight 2020, right? It's just the way it is. But if we can go back and try to learn, and basically I want to engrave it in my brain, like I want to brand it so that I never forget that structure. I never forget what happened, right? So that, I'm basically, you want to build up your arsenal, right? Trading in charts is a lot about memory. So if you're a stoner and you smoke a lot of weed, it might not work out because you're always forgetting stuff. Dun, dun, dun. So anyway, I think, it's one of those things where you just got to remember it, but not let it consume you. So after that big dump we had, what happened after that? Well, you can see we took out the lows, right? First of all, this was a 7-wave crashing structure, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. And usually what happens after that is you come up and then you cock back. Boom, 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 boom. And then you break out, right? And then you get back to the top. You have this 3-wave pullback. You have more accumulation over here, right? I remember this was a beautiful structure because I remember it coming up here, right, and tagging that. So we were cupping into the resistance. We came down. We didn't take this low, but then we went into another accumulation just like back over here. And then all of a sudden, boom, we broke out. Back then, I was actually posting on a Facebook group. I wasn't doing videos. I was just doing posts. And I would write a post and I would explain, hey, we're probably going to break out, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, we broke out and I thought, okay, let's go. The bull run's here, right? Everything looks great. And then all of a sudden, that was it. It was over, just like that. And XRP did not go into a bull run. Only if I knew what was going to happen after that. It took another 5 years. 5 years after that little pump, right? So I was buying all in here, you know, definitely in here. And then we got this little bit of a pump. I felt like, okay, we're on our way. And then I had to go all the way back down and then sideways for 3.5 years. Now I just broke out. So that's kind of the psychology that I'm sharing with you versus the first guy buying here or here or here or here or even here. They didn't have to endure all of the heartache and the stress. I remember my son was born here. He was born right at the top. I want to, or actually no, it was right there. So right in the retrace area, right at the top of the retrace. That's when he was born. And now he's going to be 4 in November. So anyways, I digress and I rant on. So what about now? Okay, so let's look at the price action now. And you know, it's going to be two things. You know, this looks really bullish, right? We have a big pop, we're cocking back here. So if we do curl up, it's going to look like a 3-wave move. And if we get that 3-wave move, we're most likely going to have to flag out in here again before breaking out. So that's idea number 1. Idea number 2 is we play with that fractal, right? We pop the high and maybe we come down, we flush the low, and then we start rounding out and then continuing higher, something like that. Which one's it going to be? It's always hard to know. But again, you can see that same thing, right? This same structure. We had the big liquidity grab. We took out the low. This was like your reaccumulation phase. Man, my brain is just trying to wrap around this fractal because I can't believe it. It's just, it was right in front of us the whole time. That's what's frustrating. Like, man, it was right there the whole time. I think we get caught up in all the hype and all the price action, and we forget to look at our history books, right? We always got to go back in time and read your history book so that we can always remember. So yeah, let's do a little bit of reflecting. All right, let's move on. ADA. By the way, real quick, where's XRP going to go after it breaks out? Let me just give you a number here. So if we look at the retracement, we're currently right between the 50 and the 382. But I really strongly believe that we can come all the way up above $4, probably looking around 450, 437, up to $5, right? And then from there, you know, we probably only have 5 waves left. So if this is a wave 4, then we need a wave 5, right? So let's look at this entirely. So we have 1, 2, or actually, yeah, 1 and then a 2. So there's your 1, there's your 2. We go up, we hit 3, and then we have an expanded flat for wave 4. We know exactly what this is now. It's an expanded flat. Unless we crash, and then obviously that was the top. So 1, 2, 3, expanded flat for a wave 4, and now we need 5 waves, right? So once we build a base in here, we want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. maybe up to 9, 10, 11, 12, $13. Who knows exactly where it's going to be? That's why we have to wait for that first wave so that we can measure it. And essentially, if I zoom in, see, did that take the top? We technically did. You could see right here, we took the top. So you could say that it's 5, but it's not really that nice looking. But I know Monero had, I mean, there's a few other ones that had 5, but most of them had 3. But basically what we could do is take a trend-based fib extension from the bottom of this wave to the top of the wave, back down to the bottom. But we don't know if this is the bottom yet. It could go be a little bit lower. But let's assume that the bottom is in, then where's the high? Well, that first wave, you're going to get up to $4, the 1618, right? So if this is a 1, 2, maybe we come up here for a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not right now, and not today, not tomorrow, not even next week. It's going to take time. We're probably going to have to flag out in here and then go up. But I'm just showing you just the targets itself and the wave. So 1, 2. Then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe get up to 430, then flag out a little bit, and then go up. I'm gonna have to shrink this so we can get a little bit more of an accurate detail. And then also we need to throw in this Fibonacci area, which really is about the same, so I'm just gonna leave it out. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, flag out for a 4, and then go up and hit 5. But I think we're going to get a big 5th wave. That's just my opinion, but we'll see. All right, I feel like I talked way too much. ADA, it's really the same thing. Everything's the same. I mean, it basically has that same move, that same little cock back. It could hit the high, flush the low, then round out, or it can do a 3-wave move, then flag out, then go. It's kind of like, either way, it's going to take some time. So I'm kind of hoping that, this pops the high and then comes down and freaks everybody out and then rounds out of here. That way I can scoop up a lot. But that's pretty much it, man. I don't know. Matic, Matic looks pretty good here. I like the way Matic looks. See how it came up and it had this 3-way, but look at the candles in there. They look really interesting. I like the little double bottom in here. I like the 3-way pullback. And then you got a double bottom. And then you're already very, very close to the low. You're very close to the low, right? So it actually looks pretty good. I'm going to have to look at the other chart. Yeah, see, this chart looks different. It looks much different. It's not down here at the low. So I would probably lean with this chart more. Yeah, I don't know. I think it needs a little bit. It needs some work in here. Let's just put it that way. All right, Monero. Can't wait to talk about Monero. So we have this 3-way pullback, and that could be very bearish. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very bearish. But if we can just maintain these lows, and let's say we have 3 back down, and then we get 5 back up, and then we flag out again, and then we go up. It's probably going to be something like that. If I had to imagine, right? Because you're in a very interesting spot. You're trying to crack through. Look at all of these candles in here. That's a lot of cluster. There's a lot of energy in there, right? So you're trying to crack through it all. And Monero's been asleep for several years, so it's like a baby bird trying to break through that egg. It's trying to poke through it, and it takes a few times. So, but yeah, it's pretty good. XLM. Forgive me, guys. I'm just kind of all over the place today. I barely got any sleep. yesterday. Just we bought my son a new bed and we were putting it together, and then once I put it together I had to take it apart because it didn't fit, so we had to switch it all around. We had to switch his whole room around and basically got him this bed right here, and he was totally surprised because he's basically outgrown his crib and he's trying to escape his crib, and he actually did once, and he fell. He was climbing over and he went boom right to the carpet. So I'm like, okay, that's it. I got to get him a real bed. And I'm like, well, he loves cars, so how am I going to just keep him in the bed? Because that was always the worry. Like, well, what if he just leaves the bed and just walks out the door? So I got him a car bed thinking he would stay in it, and it's actually worked out really good. He slept in it all night and he loves it. So it's actually pretty cool too. It kind of lights up in there. So yeah, anyway, his room is such a mess, so we've been trying to clean his room out. This is the before picture, so it looks terrible right now, but we still got to get him a bigger box spring, a bigger mattress. But yeah, it was a pain in the butt trying to get everything in here, because I thought the bed came with slats, the little wood things that go across, but it didn't come with any slats, so I had to go and make them myself. Basically, I just used cardboard and I measured it and cut it out, and it's working so far, but I'm still gonna have to go do that. But anyways, Stellar is, it really comes down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's 1, 2, 3, and then this is gonna round out in here and then continue higher. So it's one of those things that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So if that's 5, then we should expect 5 here, right? So this is your B wave, and this is your C wave. So that's going to be the big question, is do we get that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Exactly the same with Algorand. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe we get 7. I don't know. It's a 7-wave crashing structure. Bitcoin kind of looks like a descending triangle here. You're testing the lows too many times. It's probably going to come up, get rejected, break down, having to work its way out of there. We're still in a tough spot, man. I don't know what else to say. We're still in a very tough spot. But I do like the 3-wave move here, right? So we kind of have more so, 1, 2, 3, that's a flat. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So 3, 3, 3. That could be your WXY. So what do we need to do here? Go sideways and then continue higher. That's the best case scenario. I think that's it, guys. I don't have anything else. Whoa, look at SHIB. SHIB definitely looks different than the other coins because it had more oscillation. So if you notice, the other coins they kind of drizzled down, whereas SHIB actually had oscillation down. It had this 3-wave pullback, and then it had this double bottom. It spiked the high here. So it looks like we have 3 down, we have 3 up, maybe we get 3 back down. So that's kind of saying a little bit more downside. Versus ICP, you're just, drizzling down. So, all right, what about Theta? Same thing with Theta. They're all the same pretty much. Theta's a tough one. Let's see. That looks bearish to me. It needs to go sideways or hit the low and then go sideways, then go up. So I'm not convinced yet. The big thing is breaking this downward resistance line. If we can go sideways and break that downward resistance line, then we can get some momentum up here, right? And then maybe come back down and then start developing that base. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. I will come back with the weekly close. We can look at it real quick. So the weekly close, you know, it's going to be a bad week, but it's not too bad, right? Because we still have a low, we have a higher low, and we still have a higher low. So we're still making higher lows. So we're still good, right? Yeah, but the weekly chart, you know, it is what it is. You know, we're at home base. So this is a relatively low risk opportunity, in my opinion. I don't think there's a lot more room to the downside. I really don't. Think about it, though. We've been going down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. Guys, think about that for a minute. The price of crypto has been going down for the last 10 weeks, okay? That's a long time. So I think, you know, because look at this. We went up 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. We went up, we'll just say 4 big, strong weeks. And then we went down 10 weeks, right? So we're not used to it. We're not used to going up. Same thing over here. You know, when we started out, we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, right? And then, but look how long it took to go down. You know, that's a lot of candles in there. From bottom, that's 22, 21, 22 weeks of downside, right? So I feel like the bottom is close in here, and especially since where we are, right? And where we are is in this box here of support. So we need to hold support in here and then start working your way back up. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, and then blast off. Let's get the blast off. I can't wait to get that. All right. But the weekly candle looks good. What about the RSI? Or what about the okay, so we're on a weekly 7. So guys, that's interesting. In one day, we're going to get an 8. You know what that means? We're 1 week away from getting a 9. So if we can get a 9 buy on the weekly chart, that's going to be very rare, because we haven't had a 9 buy on the weekly for THETA since going back to June of 2023, right? And it had this big rally to the upside. So kind of like this, you know. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Let's see. Do we have any other sequentials in here? 4-day chart. Let me look at the 5-day chart. Nothing there. 3-day chart. Nothing there. 2-day chart. You had a 9, but then you took it out. 1 day. Okay, so we're about to get a 9 today on the 1 day. It's not going to be perfected, but it's still good. It's still a good 9. You can see the 9 up here, called the top pretty well. So let's see if we can get the bottom. Because what we have, guys, you know, the reason I'm still bullish on it is because we don't have 5 waves. This is 3 waves. Okay? So if this turned out to be 5, and then we had this 3, and then we had a 5, I would be nervous. But, you know, so this is 3, this is 3, and then 1, 2, 3, right? So 3, 3, 3. So we have this impulse to the upside, and we have a 3-wave pullback. And then we want to hold support in here, and then we want to go up for that 3rd wave. So there's your wave 1, there's your wave 2, and let's go up for a wave 3. Okay, so Ethereum is also very important. We want Ethereum to do well. We need Ethereum to do. Look at Ethereum, guys. Ethereum actually took the low here. It was a liquidity grab. So that's why I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum now. I think it just needed to, you know, Ethereum had so much, you know, tension inside the price. and there were so many people, basically there was too many bullish people on Ethereum, and too many people were expecting certain things for Ethereum, and it just never happened. Just like for XRP, people expect it never happens, and then they sell, right? So even Eric Trump, the son of Donald Trump, who probably knows more than anybody does, right? He said that it was a perfect time to buy Ethereum. Thank me later. And I have to agree with him. So Eric obviously probably knows how to read these charts. But yeah, we have 3 waves down. We got 3 waves up, and then we also have 3 waves down. We have a 3-wave move here, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have a 3-wave pullback. And that 3-wave pullback actually was a liquidity grab. So now we're still back in this area, build a little bit of a base, and then start to continue higher. So anything on the sequential here? 2-day, nothing. 3-day, 4-day. Oh, look at that. We have a 4-day 9, guys. And it's perfected too. That gives me something. That gives me something to work with. So then once I have that 9, then what I want to do is I want to look around Ethereum to see if there's any other 9s that have confluence. It's not just some random time frame. And look at this. We have actually the 4-day 9 this is why I love the 4-day chart. This is why I always love it, because there's something about it, right? Look at this, guys. This was like the best rally in the world here. We started out all the way down here on a where's the 1? So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was a perfect. I mean, you can't get any more perfect than that. Look at that. It perfectly called the top. Beautiful candles, beautiful 9 sell. Perfect. If you want this indicator, just type in trend reversal predictor. It's the same thing, but basically it's a TD sequential. It's from Tom DeMark, and it uses momentum. But you got to use it in conjunction with other things. You can't just use it blindly, right? So for example, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, right? And that's what I'm thinking, but we have a 9 somewhere in the middle of the third, you obviously know it's not right. But if we have a 9 at the top of the 5th with bearish divergence between the 3rd and the 5th, that's how you know it's good stuff. So yeah, we have a 4-day 9 buy. It looks really, really good. And it's going to end tomorrow. It's not going to end today. It's got to end tomorrow, but that's okay. And then yeah, we should have our weekly candle too. So let's look at the weekly chart. Whoa, guys, this is very, very interesting. We also have a weekly 8, guys. So in 2 days, so tomorrow we're gonna have the 4-day 9 buy close, and then on Sunday we're gonna have the weekly 9 buy open. Now that is very interesting. Very interesting. So what we want for the 9 to be perfected, obviously we want the 9 to trade below the 8, right? And we want it to wick. So if I could draw a little candle here, just like that, well, let's see, I'm going to draw it just like, I'm going to have the wick here, and then the bottom of it right there. That's my ugly candle, but that's your 9 there, right? So, and then we have another weekly candle, and then we start going up. But here's the cool part, right here. This is how you know. So we have an impulse, and we have 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. So not only we have a 4-day 9, not only we have a weekly 9, but we also have that weekly 9 where we should expect it, which is where? On the 3-way pullback. So anytime you get 3 and you get a 9 at the bottom of that 3, that is like the perfect setup. I probably would own a little bit of Ethereum, simply because you know, it's one of those king altcoins, and it really takes a lot of money to move it. But at the same time, I think it's a low risk opportunity, especially when you have to choose between Bitcoin and Ethereum. I would choose Ethereum all day, right? Way more than Bitcoin, simply because of where it's at. And then also, if we look at ETH versus Bitcoin, I haven't looked at that in a long time. I think we should look at it. Yeah, it's just been a complete disaster. But I think it reached max capitulation here. Let me look at the monthly. Whoa, guys, we're on a monthly 9 buy. So think about that for a minute. In 20 days, basically, once this month is over, we're going to have a monthly 9 buy. Okay? But it might not be perfected. I mean, we still got 20 days. It's still a long time. So, but what we have here is we have a 3-wave move in the making here, right? So what we want to do is go sideways a little bit and then start to go up. Maybe not that long, but you know what I mean. So you could see here we came down. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look where we had the 9. We had the 9 at the bottom of at the top of the 3rd, or at the bottom of the 4th. No, the top of the 4th. So we didn't, you know, that 9, obviously you could tell it wasn't working out. So what about the 2-week chart? Nothing there. Weekly chart, we're on a 7, which is close. Look at that. We're also on a 4-day 9. But we've had many 4-day 9s. So this is basically a really, you know, we have 3 here, we have 3 up, and then we have 3 down. So, and you can see all the chop. That's why I don't like bottlenecking. You could see how it bottlenecks, boom, 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 boom. Like pinballing. I should call it pinballing instead of bottlenecking, but basically you're doing a little pinballing in here, and then bam, full max capitulation, go sideways a little bit, break out. All right, let's look at XRP weekly chart. And Atom, I haven't looked at this one in a long time. Yeah, all the way back to the lows, got the 3-way pullback. Pepe, haven't looked at that one in a long time. Oh, Pepe's also on a 9 on the weekly. That could be a good buy there. You're right here, right there. Let's see, you got 3 down, you got 3 up, and then you got 3 back down. Or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down too, so we have to be aware of that. Looks okay. I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on it. These are just charts that I haven't looked at in a long time. Just because these aren't my normal trading charts. I trade ADA, Chainlink, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, THETA. I just don't really trade these. Helium looks interesting. You got an impulse, and then you have a 3-wave pullback. It looks good, and then you're right back down at the lows here. And I'm trying to see if there's any divergence. Yep, you're getting some bullish divergence in here, just a little bit. It's probably even stronger on the smaller time frames. Yeah, look at that. So you have boom and then boom, bullish. Quorum. Wow, look at Quorum. It's also bullish. Look at that. I mean, so far, you know, you got a 3-way pullback, but we need evidence of a reversal. We don't have that yet. What about ZIL? Whoa, ZIL had a massive dump. This is like a C19 event all over again. You know, we had 2 C19 liquidation events in one bear market. Interesting. So you kind of see we got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4, and that's 5, and then 6, and then 7, and then come up, and then drizzle, flag out a little bit, and then go up. What's up with Tron? Tron looks a little bit interesting. I mean, man, I just don't like this price action. It just looks funny to me. It's probably manipulation to some degree. But Tron was smart for putting a stable coin on their network so that people can use USDT through the Tron network instead of Ethereum. I mean, it looks okay because you're flagging out in here, right? You're flagging out. It looks good. OMG. Super bearish. I mean, they're just, they're all S coins to some extent. All right, let's look at Link here. Weekly chart looks good. Nothing on that. Okay, there's Aave. Weekly chart. You can see we had a weekly 9 sell. And now we're pulling back. Theta Fuel. Oh, look at Theta Fuel. Theta Fuel is on a weekly 8, guys. Which means we're going to get a weekly 9. Okay? We're going to get a weekly 9 on Theta Fuel. So, look at that. We had the 9 that called the exact top. Pretty much the exact top. And now we're going to get another 9 that could potentially call the exact bottom. Boom, boom, boom. 3 waves. So we have 3 up. We get a 9. We have 3 down. Let's get another 9. So if you get a 3-wave move, and then at the end of that move you get a 9, that's a good signal. Bohm is on a weekly 9 sell, or a weekly 9 buy. Bohm just took a crap. I mean, man, that's just sucks. It was looking pretty good, but again, meme coins are so risky. You just don't know, man. You just don't know. It started off looking really nice, but just devastation. But I think it'll, it's if there's your impulse, you got a 3-way pullback. I think it could do well later on. It's just not now. All right, XRP weekly chart. It looks freaking great. It looks great. Nothing, no complaints. No complaints. All right, let's look at the sequential. There shouldn't be anything on the sequential unless we zoom all the way in. Look at the 8-hour candle. Look at that. Look at this, guys. If we were looking at the 8-hour chart, some 9s reflect better on certain time frames. You can see here we came up, we had a 9 sell, we pulled back. And then we came up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had another 9 sell, and that called the top. Boom, 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 boom. And then we came all the way down, and look at this. We landed on a 9 buy, and that called the bottom. So we had 2 9s that called the top, and then 1 9 that called the bottom. So I'd say it's pretty good for the 8-hour chart. H-bar, same thing with H-bar. Look at the 8-hour chart. Worked really well. All right, let's go back to Theta, and let's look at the weekly. We already looked at it. All right, that's right. Okay, I think we're good here. Oh, same thing with Matic is on a weekly 8. Monero shouldn't be anything because it's been consolidating for so long. But I would have to zoom in. Oh, look at that. We had a 3-day 9 sell. Called the top here. Came down. Had another 3-day 9 sell. Also, What about the daily? There shouldn't be anything on there, so I'm not going to look at that because we're just... Sequential works really well when you are trending, not consolidating, right? So trending could be, you're trending down, trending back up, trending back down, but you're not really trending. You're in a bigger correction, So looks a little bit bullish there. Got a little bit of rejections there, but look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is on an 8. We're about to get a 9 in a couple hours. So Bitcoin's about to get a 9, so that's interesting. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think that's got to be it, guys. XMR versus Bitcoin. All right, guys. I just need to put everything away and get some rest. My brain's kind of fried right now. So, but I wanted to give an update because I don't know, just felt like it. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I want to get a members video out sometime this week. So be on the lookout for that. And I was going to do initially like a rotational members video or even like targets. But since we're down in the dirt right now, there's no sense of us talking about that stuff yet until we get more primed. But I will be talking about some strategies and some game plan. I'll keep you guys posted, and we'll go from there. But anyways, look at freaking SHIB. You're on an 8 and you're about to get a 9, and you have a big doji, a bullish hammer doji too. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that the bottom is pretty much cooked in. We could have a little bit more lower to go. We could even flush the low, but I think all in all, I think these are just buying opportunities. The big thing is surviving through the weekend, because weekends have been just brutal. So as long as, we'll wake up tomorrow morning and we'll see exactly, how it's going tomorrow, right? Because if we can survive tomorrow and Monday, I think it's going to set us up for a bullish continuation. So if we zoom in a little bit, it looks like it's setting up to go down. You can see here, it looks like it's wanting to go back down. But as long as we kind of maintain control in here, instead of having any violent breakdowns, I think we'll be all right. So, all right, that'll do it for real this time. Remember, this is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong, and it can go to zero, and we can lose all your money. So, just understand that. I mean, look what happened to Bohm, right? I was bullish on Bohm, and look at it. It got completely obliterated. So, but with all respect, it is a meme coin. It barely just came out. It's not really reliable. Versus something like XRP, I think XRP has been one of my best performing, not coins, but charts, right? I mean, me personally performing well, calling what it should be, especially just ever since I've done this channel. I've been really spot on with XRP. So, all right, for real this time. I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.